Why, hello, YouTube! Greetings from the LazyEyebrowReviewer. Recently, I've showed you this amazing figure. Now it's time for one that I find equally as good. It's Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Optimus Prime. Now, this figure's been painted a bit using silver hobby paint to make the places where chrome should be stand out, as most of his body was used creating an ugly dull gray, much like Masterpiece Thundercracker. This is also the third Transformer I bought for my collection, just so you guys know. So let's get on with the review. Revenge of the Fallen Prime is modeled after a Peterbilt 379, one of Peterbilt's biggest 18-wheeler trucks right now. And I do say, Hasbro really went all out on this figure. I'd even say this is masterpiece grade of a figure, as this alt mode definitely looks accurate to the actual truck. Transformations line are nearly non-existent. Most of the lines that are visible look like they should actually be there on the truck, such as the hood, the division between the cab windows and the doors, and so on. This is a fantastic looking truck. One downside of this figure I find is that Hasbro never made a trailer to accompany this particular figure. They made one later for the Ultimate Dark of the Moon Optimus, but never made one for their best movie Optimus. Not even third-party companies have attempted this project. Pity, really. So, on to the transformation. Step 1 will be to separate the hood from the front grille and rotate the entire upper portion of the truck up and around. From here, you have two routes to go. Either can be accomplished first, so let's flip a coin. Heads, we do the head, and tails, we do the legs. Oh look, heads. So on to the upper half. First, fold up the walls of the sleeper section of the cab. Unclip the exhaust pipes, swing them around, and clip them in the gas tanks. Unclip the lower section of the wall and swing it around. Now, fold all of the sleeper section up and around to form its back, then fold in the wings. Rotate the back panels until they clip into the back. Fold the fenders into each other, rotate them around, then swing them up into the peg on his back. At the front of the truck, split the arms apart. Swing the doors and oil tanks out. Fold out the hood paneling around the arms. Swing the cabin firewall up to reveal the head. Collapse the arm paneling and swing out the arms. Fold the shoulders in on themselves and then swing them up into position. Peg his torso into what was the trailer hookup area. Fold his head up and around. What you will hear a lot of though when you do this is his voice gimmick when you move the head up. I can recommend either removing the batteries or just be really careful when you transform this, as you can get pretty sick of it soon. Fold the arm paneling down, rotate the arm, and then fold it down as well as then rotate the oil tanks up. It's an important step here to fold these blue panels on the windows down before you swing the windows into position, as if you don't, the final product won't exactly look right. Swing down the window assembly and peg the firewall into his chest. Now for the legs. Flip up the back wheels. Collapse the paneling that surrounds the chassis into the thighs and rotate the wheels back. Separate the grille sections. Unfold the front part of the chassis and then collapse these three panels into each other to form his feet. Rotate the sun visors to your liking. Movie accuracy puts them about here. Fold the wheels back down and you have yourself a pretty stinking awesome robot. Optimus also comes with flip-out swords and look pretty darn accurate to the first movie, but I find they tend to hinder motion and are not really all that needed, so I leave them off. To remove them, take a small Phillips screwdriver and remove these three screws. Remove the panel, then remove the sword. Replace the paneling and screws, and you're good to go. Now this Optimus I find spectacular. This figure has such a complex transformation that when I first got this one, it took me nearly 45 minutes of trying to figure out what went where and how to get it there before I finally got a truck. Even just looking at this guy now, you can barely tell that this figure actually transforms. The wheels and windows may give it away a bit, but there's very little truck kibble shown in this guy. Unlike a few other figures where one look at the figure can tell you how it transforms without even touching a thing. All you can really tell on this guy is that his chest becomes the cab, and maybe his back is the back of the truck? Maybe? As far as articulation goes, this figure comes loaded with it. Just about as good as MP10, I find. There's ball-jointed feet, a 90-degree knee, movable knee plates, limited leg twist, legs move out, forward, and back on a pretty slick ratchet joint. Funny, Ratchet himself has no ratchet joints. How's that for irony? Arms are also on a great ratchet joint and move out forward and backward. 90-degree elbow bend, and swiveling wrist. No articulated hands, however, but that's alright because a few third-party companies have solved this by offering completely articulate hands for this figure. So you have options should you desire that, whether you want a closed fist or if you want to go the full Monty. Head swivels and can look up and down. however limited. Sun visors are on a ball joint for extra movement. Flipping the switch on his chest reveals chest movement up for his voice gimmick, and light up eyes which are green color for some reason. Would blue really have been that hard to pull off? Oh well. So now with all this articulation, you can get some great animation ability out of him, such as...
Are you Samuel James Whitwick?
So that does it for Leader Class Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. He's an excellent figure, practically masterpiece grade. And if you have the means to find one, I highly recommend getting him, as he is definitely one to have in your collection, especially if you can find the Jetfire to pair him up with. This has been the Lazy Eyebrow Reviewer.